So in this chapter, we will see how to use the data that we have prepared in a reporting tool. I'm using Power BI because it's a very commonly used tool today, but it could be any other tool like Tableau, Qlik, MicroStrategy, Sub-Business Object, Cognos, whatever you like to use. We will see there are other applications like data science that wants to have the data prepared a little bit different, but that's fine. We will do that later. Here we're concentrating really on the tools that like to have a dimensional model. And we have replaced the use case specific interfaces in the previous chapter with generic objects. We will import them here and we will recreate all the use cases that we have done before with the use case specific interfaces, with the general interface, and at the end we will see that we can create as well new use cases without really needing to do something out of the box, and that's the power of this prepared, well integrated data. So I get the data and I select here more because I will load the data from my sample environment, and important is we're never connecting to the Datavault builder, we're connecting here to the underlying database, which can be Snowflake, Synapse, SQL Server in all its variant, Exasol, BigQuery, Oracle, or in my case, Postgres. So I search here for the Postgres connector, connect, and I need to get now my server name and the port where my database is located, and I will get the database name, and I will use the import functionality like this. Power BI creates automatically my model like most of the other tools, and we don't need to do anything. Now it will analyze, it will give me the list to select from. So I say I want to have my dimension values and my fact table in that case, and load them. In theory, it would create a perfect model. In our case, it will not. That's on purpose to show you that we can, in an agile way, evolve the model, because you maybe remember that we haven't implemented yet the relation between the order and the customer. So in contrast to other tools, Power BI decides not to link the customer to the order position yet, even the key name indicates that there is a relation. As long as there is no data, Power BI doesn't care about it. So what we do for the time being, we go back now, we give a feedback that we need some changes to our data engineers. And we need now to implement the order to customer relation. And in the order, we have already the order table loaded. In the customer hub, we have already the customer loaded, but the foreign key from the order to the customer is missing. So let's add that. And in most cases, if I have bigger amounts of data, I would use a transaction link for that here. That's a very small sample data set and it will never grow. So I will take here just the binary link that was already prepared. And it's not the order ID. We're loading here the key for the customers. So I will take here now the customer ID, check for uniqueness. I don't expect it to be unique because there could be several orders for one customer, hopefully. So we can't create automatically satellite. It wouldn't make any sense. And now we can add a link. I'm just hurrying here through showing that I do it. If you want to know how to do that, there are chapter 3 and 4 explaining how to build the different kind of links when to use them. And important is I need to load as well the data. And after we have done this, testing. So we go here to the order position. And remember, we haven't changed anything at the order position. We just implemented this link. Still, if I go in here and I test, now, even in the order position, we have the link to the customer. So let's go back here to Power BI. Let's refresh our data. Let's tell Power BI to detect our new relations. That should be visible now. And it finds them. Very cool. So the last thing that I will do is that I will go now to the relations. And this is now my personal preference. I like to filter in both directions. Means if I filter for orders, I want to see only the customers related to the orders. And if I filter for customers, I want to see only stuff on the other side, don't forget to click on the Apply Changes button. In that case, I do it all the time. And that's it. And that was a small change in personal preference that I'm doing here. But you could use already the model out of the box if you want to use it as Power BI proposes to do it. And we go to the report view, and let's create here our first use case, which was a customer list. So we go to the customer, we just select here the first name, last name, email, and the partner club. And we could filter here now for the ones which are null. We could group them. We could do some kind of presentation that we like. But let's take the partner club, put it in the filters, select the blank ones. And now we had as well a sort in our first use case. So I'm looking just in the Datavault builder here what it was by last name. So let's sort that by last name. And we have exactly the same view as we had in our first use case. So let's go to the second use case. And the second use case was a product list for a product manager. And as well, this one, we can just open here the product thing, take the product name, the category name, and the list price. And we are in fact done. We could now filter, test it. But we go now to the third use case. And the third use case was now on the order position to get the revenues. I just call it the revenue use case. And as well here, we can select now from the order position here the price, the revenue, and the amount. And I select here that I want to have a table view. And the important thing is here that now I can not only select stuff from the order position, but I can go as well to other stuff. I can now take like the product name, include it in here. And we can go here and take the category name, and automatically it will create the right relations because we prepared the data in the background. And we could go then to our tomato use case and filter for that and stuff like that. But I will not do that. I will just show you that even if we haven't maybe thought about other use cases, we can now profit from our general model and say, okay, we want to have now the customer's last name, and we want to see how much revenue he generated, and out of the box, we get the results right away. So we can even now create in the report use cases that weren't prepared, and this is the idea of this conformed model that we have, conformed facts, conformed dimensions that we can use right out of the box. So just for repetition, what we've created in this use case. We took a reporting tool, in my case Power BI, it could be any other tool. We connected it to the underlying database, in my case Postgres, but it could be Oracle, Snowflake, Exasol, Big Data, SQL Server, Synapse, all the databases that we support. We loaded the data, we let the tool build the connections automatically, so we don't need to configure anything. In my case, I did change here the filtering, but that was more my personal taste. And out of the box, we can now regenerate the use cases that we had in the previous cases. Additionally, we can create new use cases that we haven't thought of. So now the report creators don't need to come back to the data engineers, and we can go even further in later chapters to create a universal star schema where we can really put in several fact tables in an output that the people creating the reports can create them without needing to go back to the data integration platform that we're working on. In the next chapter, we will see how we create different kind of interfaces for different consumers, but here for all the reports, the reporting tools that use a dimensional output, you're good to go with this. And you can exchange as well your reporting tool later without needing to refactor your data integration pipeline.